Alrighty, what's going on, everybody? Yo, what's going on, everyone? It is your boy Fitz TV here, aka G33. I want to welcome you guys back here to the Legit Shoot podcast. It is Monday. You know what that means. Rest in peace, Luke Harper, Brody Lee. Man, I'll mention that very quickly here, but yes, it is Monday. You know what that means. This is the Legit Shoot podcast. Thank you guys so very much for joining me here on your Monday night. All right, we are going to be talking about Raw tonight. I'm going to try to get through the opening shoot very quickly because I know I'm starting the live stream a little bit late, and I don't want to go past 11 or 12 tonight. So I'm going to try to get through this fairly quickly. But thank you guys so much for joining me. Hope you guys are staying safe and healthy in these final days of 2020. You know, finally, we're going to forget about this year, this crazy, horrific, I don't know how many adjectives I can use to describe this year, but most of them are not good. But hopefully you guys are doing well throughout these final days of the year. But, we're going to get into Monday Night Raw. And really quickly, I want to speak on Luke Harper, right? Unless you guys have been living under a rock, you guys know, or you guys should have heard the sad news. Saturday night, Luke Harper passed away, right? He passed away of lung-related issues, not related to COVID-19, but he was actually battling, these lung-related issues way before that. And the reasons why he was taken off AEW television was because he had been hospitalized, right? And not many people in AEW and his close friends outside of the company, not many people knew about his condition. But the fact is, he had been wrestling with this condition for a very long time. We don't know all the specifics, but we don't need to because it's really not our business at the end of the day. But he did pass away, and then this hearing and seeing the outpouring of stories and love and admiration, everything that people have been saying about him. I didn't know the guy that well, of course. I only knew him, of course, from watching him on WWE television when he was with WWE, right? When he was, teaming up with Eric Rowan and the Bludgeon Brothers, or when he was with Bray Wyatt as part of the Wyatt family, and the small singles run that he had. He was always a very talented individual, right? I feel like the WWE could have done a lot more with him, and definitely the reason why he left WWE, he wanted to stay with the company, but the company never used him, and he would legit count down the days to when his contract would expire. And then AEW, in the short time that he was there, right, him being the leader of the Dark Order, and then his feud with Cody Rhodes, and him becoming TNT champion, seeing all these stories about how kind of a man he was behind the scenes, and how everything that he did in the ring, he wanted to do it not only for himself and his own success, but he also wanted to do it for his family. Just hearing all the stories, man, I respect the guy. And the big thing to take away from this, like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of him. I did enjoy his work for the most part. I did find it funny how he would almost always wrestle in like the same tank top every single night. How you could see all the stains and the sweat and everything that would get on it as the days and the weeks would accumulate on WWE TV. But the thing to take away from this is, at the end of the day, these WWE superstars, these guys we watch on television, they have their own lives at the end of the day. They have their own lives. Outside of WWE and AEW and wrestling in general, they have their own issues. They're humans just like us. We look up to them because they're WWE superstars, but at the end of the day, they are humans. They have their own families. They have their own problems. They live life just like we do. Just because they have all the fame and all this money, right, and all these other things that we may not have, and we look up to, at the end of the day, they're going through their own problems. Luke Harper was going through this illness and this battle behind the scenes, and not many people knew about it. That's why so many people were crushed to hear of his passing. Like I said, I wasn't the biggest fan of him, but I respected him, and hearing about it, and it made me sad. Because seeing the videos of him with his family and his passion for this business, it's always a big loss when you lose somebody like that. And, WWE tonight, usually when they lose somebody, and this is how we'll transition into Monday Night Raw. When WWE loses somebody of their family, right? They usually do have all the superstars gather on the top of the stage, and they do the 10 bells, right? All WWE really did tonight for Luke Harper, at the beginning of the program, they put it in loving memory of Luke Harper, and they put, his birth date, right? I wish they did, like a tribute video for him. Because I understand a little bit. He wasn't signed with the company of the time of his passing, but at the end of the day, you see AEW, they're doing a whole show in tribute to Brody Lee, a whole show. All WWE really needed to do was do a video package. Do a 2-3 minute video package, right? And yes, I know he's not with the company anymore, but still, there's many people like Bray Wyatt, many people in that company that were close to him, Big E of the New Day. So many people, love this guy. And, I felt like WWE could have done a better job paying tribute to him. He's not signed with the company at the end of the day, but, doing a tribute package, just the little things, this shows that you respected the guy. I'm not, of course, he's not a WWE Hall of Fame or anything like that, but still, man, I'm a little disappointed in WWE for at least not giving him, a little bit of a video package. They could have easily had, the Fiend, or have Big E or somebody close to him in that company say a couple words about him backstage, make a nice little video package highlighting, what he did on WWE TV, and that be that. And I'm disappointed in WWE. I felt like they could have done better. I really, it's a 3-hour show. They could have easily put aside, 3, 4, 5 minutes, right, to pay tribute to the guy. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. That's my thoughts on him. I hope he rests in peace. I don't know the guy, right? But I hope, my condolences are with his family and, everybody that's been affected by his loss. And like I said, respect the WWE superstars at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, they're human beings just like you and me. So that's my thoughts on that. I didn't make a video on it because I would just mention it briefly. And that's really all I got to say on the matter. Okay? So rest in peace, Brody Lee, a.k.a. Luke Harper. Alright? So let's get into Monday Night Raw tonight. First off, Rachel Buck. We don't usually get super chats. I never ask you guys for super chats. Right? But I appreciate it. If you guys want to donate, everything that we make from the channel gets reinvested into the channel. But Rachel Buck, do you think SmackDown is the A show and AEW is the B show? Look, I do keep up with AEW every single week, but I'm not the biggest fan of AEW. I'm not. To me, AEW. Do you think SmackDown is the A? My thing with AEW is they try too hard to be better than WWE, and they make mistakes. That comes with their storytelling, their matches. Sometimes they put out banger of matches, but most of the time when I'm watching AEW, all I see is freaking, let's do fall, or we gotta do move after move, big spot after big spot. And I'm just like, where's the storytelling? Where's the selling, right? But right now, I would rather watch SmackDown than AEW. I'm not hating on AEW, but I'm not the biggest fan of AEW at the end of the day. There's characters that I love. I love Jon Moxley. Love the Inner Circle, right? Love Cody. I loved what Luke Harper did with the with the Dark Order before his passing, right? And I keep up with it. I don't do AEW reviews because, like I said, I don't have really a lot of time to keep up with doing AEW reviews on top of all the other videos I do during the week. But I would rather watch SmackDown, especially when you have the GOAT Sasha Banks on that show. All right? But yes, I appreciate the super chat, guys. Wow. I know we have some new subscribers in here, right? I know we got a lot of new subscribers coming over from some of my anime videos, right? And I'm very happy for that. Very happy. But definitely, thank you guys to all the new subscribers that are here. My old subscribers, I love you guys as well. You guys that are here every single week, you guys are the ones that keep the channel going, okay? So, like I said, I don't want to go over an hour tonight, so I think it's time that we get into WWE Raw tonight. The message, I'm going to assume that the message is a new subscriber. Welcome, bro. But we're going to get into Monday Night Raw tonight. Monday Night Raw, I will say this. Monday Night Raw was a little bit of a better show. It wasn't good, It wasn't great or anything like that. SmackDown this past weekend got a 3.5 rating, and they deserved it because they put on a really good show. You know, and I know they had the NFL lead in and all that, but for the most part, the show was good. That's why the viewers remained the same. Monday Night Raw tonight wasn't as terrible as it usually is, mainly because, and I've been saying it for weeks, Alexa Bliss is doing the best work of her career right now. I love what they're doing with Alexa Bliss in the Randy Orton angle because I have a feeling that next week, and I'm not excited for next week's show, but it is going to be a big show. Raw Legends Night, right? Because this is the way Vince McMahon thinks that he's going to be able to, you know, bring the ratings back up. Every time the ratings are low, let's do a big Legends Night, right? Let's bring back all the legends and the part-timers. And I hate that shit. I hate that shit for real. I hate when WWE does that nonsense. I'm not excited for Legends tonight, but we do have a WWE Championship match for next week with Drew McIntyre and Keith Lee. I am excited for that. I love what they're doing right now with Alexa Bliss and Randy Orton. You know, and I do believe The Fiend will most likely return next week. It would make perfect sense. I don't see them waiting till the Royal Rumble to have The Fiend return, right? I think they're going to save it as next week because WWE's going to want to get a big rating, right? Like I said, I wouldn't even be surprised if Stone Cold Steve Austin gets announced for next week's Raw. They're going to try to put in all, and I love Stone Cold Steve Austin, but, you know, we all know how WWE works. We all know how WWE works, but, yeah, that's, you know, that's my quick thoughts on that. Raw wasn't good tonight or anything like that, but it was better for what we've seen in the last week at least. You know, mainly because Alexa Bliss is doing the best work of her career, and she has turned me into a fan of hers. What they did tonight in that main event, I was on the edge of my seat, and I legit was in shock of what they did. I loved what they did. WWE needs to have more of that dark storytelling. Have those stories that we can actually get invested into, because that will make the product more watchable at the end of the day. It really boggles my mind that WWE doesn't understand how it works. It really boggles my mind that, you know, the simple things. If WWE just did the simple things, the show would be much more watchable at the end of the day. All right, but we're gonna get into Monday Night Raw. The worst thing on the show tonight was easily The Miz getting back his money to bring briefcase. I've been complaining and bitching about it for months, and I was happy when it looked like they ended that angle at TLC. But they gave Miz back the money in the bring briefcase tonight, and it just shows how pathetic Vince McMahon and this company and this writing staff is. Why? You're legit ruining the prestige of the money in the bring briefcase. Plus, no one gives a shit about the briefcase being on The Miz. Nobody. And if you do, then I feel bad for you. Because you shouldn't. It's my job to educate you people here at the end of the day. That's why you watch me. And Miz regaining the money in the bring briefcase is a terrible decision. Terrible. You guys really want to watch The Miz teasing every single week that he might cash in on Drew McIntyre like they did the last 2 months? I thought that was done after TLC, but no, they went right back to it. It's awful booking. It really is. What I hope next week, because Drew McIntyre is clearly going to defeat Keith Lee. As much as I love Keith Lee, Drew McIntyre is not losing the WWE Championship. So I hope after McIntyre and Lee put on a banger of a match, I hope that Miz tries to cash in on McIntyre, and this time he fails. Have Miz cash in this time, not Morrison, because I don't want to see the storyline continue anymore. I don't care. Have McIntyre claymore Miz and end it for good this time. It is bullshit. And it's pathetic that WWE thinks that we care about Miz being Money in the Bank, because we don't. It's pathetic. It really is pathetic at the end of the day. I hate it. I hate it. All right? Pathetic that WWE thinks so. But we're going to get into Monday Night Raw now, all right? Basically the show started off with Drew McIntyre in the ring. So Drew McIntyre came out and, you know, he started off his promo by saying, it's Monday night, you know what that means. So, you know, his small little tribute to John Huber, a.k.a. Luke Harper. Right, I already talked about that, so I'm not really going to say anything else on that matter. But Drew McIntyre opened the show talking about his future challengers for the WWE title and how Sheamus and Keith Lee would have a #1 contender match tonight to determine who would face him next week on the first Raw of the new year. So Sheamus came out to make it clear that he did not lie to Drew McIntyre about trusting him, right? Sheamus said that he didn't do anything to Keith Lee until after their holiday street fight last week, which makes sense. But I want to remind you guys, Sheamus never turned babyface, right? People are saying, oh, Sheamus turned heel when he bro kicked Keith Lee last week. No, he didn't. Sheamus never turned babyface. All right, someone tell me, when did Sheamus actually turn babyface? No, he's always been a heel. The only thing is, he was acting like a tweener the last couple of weeks because Drew McIntyre is a babyface, and they've been talking about the relationship between Drew McIntyre and Sheamus the last couple months on Monday Night Raw. Because they're setting up for eventually, right? I'm going to take off my work shirt because it is hot in here. Give me 1 sec, guys. But, excuse me. But, oh, that feels so much better. But the reason why is the last couple weeks on Raw, or months, they've been talking about the relationship between between Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. Because Drew McIntyre, of course, he's the top babyface on Raw as the WWE champion. And they're setting up that Sheamus is eventually going to portray his best friend because he's going to want to be WWE champion. That's the reason why we're not getting Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre next week, right? I love Keith Lee, but Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre is the bigger story, right? The story of Sheamus portraying his best friend and most likely leading to a WWE title match at the Royal Rumble. Sheamus never turned babyface. He acted like a tweener just because of Drew McIntyre. All right, so hopefully you guys understand that. All right, hopefully you guys actually understand that. But you know, afterwards Keith Lee came out and he said that McIntyre's word meant nothing after Sheamus betrayed him last week, and that he was done working with the two men. So McIntyre's like, okay, whatever, you know, but let's do this #1 contenders match right now since you two are already out and you're in your gear. So we got the match. But the thing about it is, before the referee could even start the match, Sheamus hit Keith Lee with 2 bro kicks, right? So this was a good match. Of course it is. Keith Lee and Sheamus, 2 of the best workers on the brand. So basically, you know, I was watching Monday Night Raw and watching the Pats get destroyed by the Bills at the same time. So, but this was a really good match. So near the end here, right, they beat the hell out of each other. Keith Lee, Sheamus went for a bro kick. Keith Lee countered and hit the spirit bomb to get the victory. So afterwards, Keith Lee went to the outside of the ring, and he and Drew McIntyre stared down, setting up next week's WWE title match. Right? We did get Keith Lee versus Drew McIntyre earlier this year. It was a very short match. It didn't last long. It was back when Drew was, you know, feuding for Randy Orton for all of the summer and into the fall. But this should be a really good match. This is a match that could honestly happen at WrestleMania. Remember, there are some WrestleMania rumors going around that we could potentially see Keith Lee versus Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar in a triple threat match for the WWE title at WrestleMania. I'm not really against that right now, right? But we still have a long way to go. There's no way Vince has his WrestleMania card flushed out. Like, no way. We know that for a fact. They won't have the WrestleMania card flushed out until 2 weeks before WrestleMania, because that's how pathetic Vince McMahon is in 2020, entering 2021. But like I was saying, you know, this is gonna be a really good match, you know. But it doesn't. I'm happy for Keith Lee that he's getting this match. But I want to remind you guys, this doesn't fix all the bad booking that Keith Lee has went through throughout 2020. He's had some bad booking. He's not buried or anything like that, but he has had some bad booking moments, some really bad booking moments. And you know, I said this on Twitter. I'm happy for Keith Lee, and hopefully going into 2021 and beyond, right? He should be featured in the main event. He shouldn't be losing, you know, useless handicap matches to the fucking Miz and John Morrison. He shouldn't. You know, he's and the thing about it is, you know, it looks like WWE is having him, you know, kind of pull back on some of his normal in-ring offense. You don't see that same intensity that you usually see from Keith Lee when he was first on the main roster, and of course back when he was in NXT having classes with Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole, right? But I am happy for Keith Lee getting this opportunity. He's not buried, but you know, hopefully this means that Keith Lee will start to actually get the push he deserves and be put and stay in that main event scene where he belongs. Because we all know Keith Lee deserves to be there, right? No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So next up, we had Gran Metalik versus The Miz, right? I didn't give a damn about this match at all, right? So The Miz came down. He had a dejected look on his face that John Morrison was trying to cheer himself up, right? But Miz, Miz, was still, he had to recover, of course, from losing the Money in the Bank briefcase at TLC. So Miz, he was angry, of course, but he spent time mocking Gran Metalik during the match and not focusing on his opponent and getting the win. So Gran Metalik was able to stay in the fight, and out of nowhere, he rode up the Miz for the 3 count. So there you go. But like I said, later in the night, Adam Pearce would give the Miz back the Money in the Bank briefcase, and the reason he gave, of course, was because John Morrison isn't allowed to cash in the briefcase for him. Only the Miz can do that, which is absolutely pathetic. I'm not saying I don't understand why Miz got the briefcase back, right? The reasoning makes sense, because Miz holds the Money in the Bank briefcase. But what is the plan? What is the fucking direction? Why? Why? Did WWE really have Morrison cash in for Miz at TLC? Was this their plan all along? Are you kidding me? Are you actually kidding me? Really? You're telling me they have this long-term plan for Miz's Mr. Money in the Bank? First of all, I don't give a shit about Miz being Money in the Bank. I don't care. I've said this how many times? I do not care. I do not want to see Miz in the main event scene in 2021. I'm sick of it. He doesn't belong there. I'm not invested in him. John Morrison I like. John Morrison, I would rather see him in the main event scene. But not The Miz. He's not that good in the ring. His character, I don't give a shit. This is not The Miz from 2016, when he was one of the top guys on SmackDown during his feud with Dolph Ziggler. No. The Miz in 2021 sucks. He sucks. So, you gave him back the Money in the Bank briefcase. What's your plan? What's your plan? Are you gonna have him cash in next week? Are you really? Or are you just wasting our time again? It's pathetic the way this company actually operates. It does. Pathetic. Pathetic. But man, oh man, I hate this company. I really do. Instead of focusing on other things that are more important, that will help get the ratings up to where they need to be, right? Because SmackDown's actually decent most weeks. Because you have Sasha Banks and Roman Reigns, top people that people are actually invested in, right? I'm invested in everything that Sasha and Roman and guys like Sami Zayn do. I am not invested in anything The Miz does. I don't care what The Miz does. So what? Why is WWE trying to make Miz look like such a top star by having him lose the Money in the Bank briefcase just for him to get it back? Why? Why? Because that's the thing at the end of the day. If you're giving The Miz the Money in the Bank briefcase back, you have to have a plan for him to, cash in. You didn't give him the Money in the Bank briefcase just to fail at it again, because no one cares. No one cares. This shit should not be happening. It really shouldn't. And it shows that WWE has their priorities and their mindset all fucking wrong. All fucking wrong. You guys really want to see Drew McIntyre have to feud with John Morrison and The Miz again going into 2021? Because we already know what's going to happen. Miz is going to come out every week with his suits and John Morrison by his side as his cheerleader, which is sad because John Morrison should not be in that role. And then Miz is going to come, oh yeah, I have Money in the Bank back. I got my baby back. I got a second chance. And then what? He's going to tease Drew McIntyre week after week after week, saying, I can cash in at you at the Royal Rumble. I can wait till WrestleMania. I can do this. I can do that. Who gives a shit? Who cares? This is my problem with WWE. This is my problem with the company. Alright? And if anybody in the chat, anybody watching this video, right, thinks that Miz should be Money in the Bank and you're happy that he got the briefcase back, leave the video. Leave the stream. Leave the channel. Because there's nothing that I can say to fix your stupid mind. There really isn't. Absolutely pathetic. Pathetic. Oh my gosh. Next up, we had Shayna Baszler versus Shayna Baszler versus Dana Brooke, right? Nia Jax versus Charlotte was also announced for tonight's show, right? Not that I care, because Nia Jax sucks, and you know Charlotte is just buried down our throats, of course, right? But you know, getting into it, Shayna Baszler versus Dana Brooke, this was actually a bad match. There was actually a couple of points during this match where I thought that Dana Brooke was going to get the surprise victory. You know, I will say this about Dana Brooke. She has improved in the ring. She's gotten a lot better. She's nowhere near, of course, championship level, but she has at least, at least in my opinion, she's gotten to the point where you have to at least respect her in the ring. She's still, you know, mainly a jobber at the end of the day, but she's more respectable than she was, let's say, you know, last year. She has improved a lot in the ring, right? So near the end of this match, Shayna Baszler went for the Karafuda clutch, but Dana Brooke reversed it, went for a roll-up, right? Then Brooke went for a splash off the top of the ring. Shayna reversed it, hit her with a knee strike, put her into the Karafuda clutch, and got the win. So afterwards, right, Mandy Rose went to check on her friend. Baszler got back in the ring and also put Mandy Rose in the Karafuda clutch. So I'm willing to bet we'll probably get Mandy Rose versus Shayna Baszler next week, right? Probably, because we know how WWE is. All right, this wasn't a bad match. It was just whatever at the end of the day. But I don't mind it because you need to have these kinds of matches on the show. Build up people in the women's division. So I don't really have a problem with this, right? Next up, we had Alexa's Playground. So this is basically Alexa's version of the Firefly Funhouse, but instead she does it in the ring, whereas she has like her own swing set. I love it. You guys know, for those of you guys who have been watching the podcast every single week, I have been a huge advocate for Alexa Bliss. I don't understand why they don't have her in the Raw Women's Championship scene, especially with this character. Alexa Bliss has easily become my favorite thing on Monday Night Raw these last couple months. I love what they are doing with her, especially what they did tonight. This was very good shit. Keep it up, WWE. Keep it up. This Randy Orton, Fiend, Alexa Bliss storyline has been done well. It's easily been the best thing on Monday Night Raw the last couple months. At first, remember when the feud first started, we were like, you know, maybe there's a story there, but WWE is doing a great job. I don't know if Randy Orton is giving his input into the storyline, right, each week, if he's giving his own, you know, suggestions of where they should go, but at the end of the day, man, you know, this is really good stuff that WWE is doing with this storyline. So, of course, Alexa Bliss invited Randy Orton to Alexa's Playground, you know, but Randy Orton did not answer. Instead, right, Orton entered the Firefly Funhouse. This is something that I said weeks ago before TLC that they should have had Randy Orton do. It makes perfect sense with his character. Randy Orton knows how to attack his opponents where it sticks. Remember, he was the guy that burnt down the Wyatt compound back when Bray Wyatt was the Eater of Worlds. So this makes perfect sense for his character. So Randy Orton entered the Firefly Funhouse. Alexa Bliss was frightened, right, as Orton tore through the Firefly Funhouse. So he took all the puppets, you know, like Mercy the Buzzard. You know, he took the pig, threw him around. He took the rabbit and ripped the head off it. So, and I love the way Alexa Bliss, you know, reacted to all this in the ring. Alexa saw this in the ring, and she was like, "Stop it, Randy, stop it!" And you could see she was getting emotional, right? Because she's developed this bond with the Fiend over these last couple months. And even though, right, we see the Firefly Funhouse as this fantasy place, you know, and the Fiend using his spiritual powers, but Alexa believes this is all real. This is her life now. This is where her character has evolved on WWE TV. So I love what they did tonight. Alexa reacting in this way, and Randy Orton, it makes sense with his character. The only thing that surprised me is Randy Orton didn't burn down the Funhouse itself. I'm surprised he didn't burn it down, because that's Randy Orton's thing, right? Burning people, burning things alive, you know, like, I'm kind of surprised they didn't do that. But the big thing here, which led us to the main event, The big thing was Alexa Bliss challenging Randy Orton to a match later on in the ring. We thought it was going to be some kind of one-on-one, but it turned out to be something completely different and something way better, if you ask me, at the end of the day. But this was really good. It got the job done. What we saw in the main event was better. I know some people don't like it, but I'm going to keep saying it. Alexa Bliss and what she's doing right now, she's the best thing on Monday Night Raw. This is the best her character ever has been. And it pisses me off that she's not in the Raw Women's Championship scene. I would love to see this character go up against an Asuka, right? I'm not saying the match would be, fantastic or anything, but the story's there. And they continue to have Asuka, and I say it every single week. Asuka's now playing second fiddle as a double champion, the Charlotte fucking Flair. That's what they're doing, right? They didn't even play Asuka's entrance music tonight when she came up with Charlotte. She's as there as, Charlotte's side buddy. Asuka hasn't defended the Raw Women's Championship in months. In months. She hasn't defended that championship since, I believe, early November. It's about to be January. It's been nearly 2 months since Asuka last defended the Raw Women's Championship. Wow. You have a story here with Alexa Bliss and Asuka that you could easily pull the trigger on. But this is what you do. It's sad. It's sad that WWE, nobody from WWE listens to me. It's sad. Because they have everything there. Everything there. But this is what they decide to do. Pathetic. Pathetic. But, I love what Alexa is doing. Next up, we had AJ Styles with Almas versus Elias with Jason Riker. This was set up backstage, right? AJ and Almas got annoyed with Styles, or not Styles. They got annoyed with Elias because he was playing his guitar too loud. So that's how this match was set up. So Elias actually this was actually not a bad match. Of course, when you have AJ Styles, one of the best wrestlers in the world, in the ring with you, it's kind of hard to have a bad match, right? But Elias actually looked pretty good here. He was able to hold his own. And you guys know, I've never been, the biggest fan of Elias. Never been the biggest fan of Elias, but he did look really good in this match tonight, right? And of course, Styles did sell his ass off. It does look like, AJ Styles, he could be turning babyface. He was acting more like a tweener tonight. But of course, people are getting behind Almas. I like Almas, right? I don't know if we'll ever see Almas actually in the ring, and I hope Almas, in his off time, I hope he's, training at the Performance Center. Because I actually enjoy Almas. And you guys know I'm a big fan of AJ Styles. I would have no problem with AJ Styles being a babyface. No problem. Right now, you have Drew McIntyre, you have Keith Lee, you have The Fiend, right? The Fiend is a babyface. I have to remind you guys of that sometime. So you do have top baby faces in your main event scene. I would have no problem with AJ Styles being a babyface as well. If they want to keep him heel, that's fine. If they want to turn him babyface, that's fine too. AJ is perfect in both roles. I have no problem with him being a babyface or a heel. But I did get the vibe tonight that it looks like we could be seeing AJ Styles transition into a babyface role. So we'll just have to see where that all goes from here. But like I said, this wasn't a bad match, right? So Almas made sure that Riker didn't interfere in the match and take any cheap shots at Styles, because Riker would get afraid and back off anytime he saw Almas making a move. So Styles fought back. He got caught with Elias' drift away finisher. I thought Elias had actually won the match and got the upset, but Styles kicked out at 2.5. So Styles was able to get the win with the phenomenal forearm finally, and that's how the match ended. So we'll see what happens here. This was not a bad match. It wasn't a bad match. Of course, like I said, it's AJ Styles. It's tough to have a bad match with one of the best of all time. But, not bad. And we'll see what happens here with Styles. All right? But we'll see. We'll see if, Styles does turn babyface here. But, we'll just see what happens next week between the two. Next up, we had Mustafa Ali with Retribution versus Ricochet, and we are going through this show very fast. I'm not gonna lie tonight. This was one of the first times that Monday Night Raw, kind of went by fast. Most of the time you're feeling dreadful. You're feeling dreadful watching Monday Night Raw. The 3 hours feel like forever. Tonight, Monday Night Raw, went by at a reasonable pace. I was watching, of course, the Bills destroy the Pats on my phone during Raw, but I don't know. It feels like they didn't try to overload you. Even though the show was far from perfect, right? It wasn't. I don't even know if I would call the show decent, but it was a little bit better than what we saw last week. I gotta be honest here, But Silo Luna, I don't know what those emojis mean in the chat. I don't know if you're trying to give me mixed signals or something or what. Try to be a little more specific with whatever you're trying to say, bro. But anyway, Mustafa Ali with Retribution went up against Ricochet. So they showed a clip from Raw Talk of Ricochet, right, talking about how something has to change. Ricochet talking about how, how he can't keep, fighting these endless battles that end in defeat. And this was more about, his failure on the main roster. Ricochet has been a failure on the main roster. You can't tell me otherwise. He's been a failure. Someone as talented as him should have been a multi-time United States champion by now, right? But he's been a failure. No matter if it's a feud with the Hurt Business, no matter if it's, him get beat in like less than 10 seconds by Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel last year, no matter if it's this feud with Retribution. Ricochet has been a failure. Instead of being one of the top baby faces on Raw, he is a failure on the main roster, which is absolutely sad. But you can also say the same thing for numerous talent from NXT. But Ricochet on the interview talked about that, how he could not afford to keep losing to Retribution, right? And how as much as he hated Retribution, something needed to change. So we got another pre-tape message from Mustafa Ali, and he said that he needed to accept that he needed help, and that he could get that help, of course, in the form of Retribution. So, like I said, this was a good match. This is Mustafa Ali and Ricochet. This was not as good. It was not as good as the match we got from them a couple of months ago on Raw. I don't know if you guys remember that match. I think it was like either late October or early November. These two had an absolute banger of a match. One of the best TV matches of the year. Very underrated match. But this match was good too. But, it wasn't anywhere close to that level. So, T-Bar planted Ricochet on the outside behind the referee's black, and Ali hit a beautiful splash from the top rope to the outside of the floor. So we cut back for break, and we see Ricochet. He's getting absolutely destroyed here by Ricochet. But Ali was destroying Ricochet. My bad, I fucked up there. But Ricochet, was able to counter, did his babyface comeback. He did a kickback move. LeMay saved Ali from the pinfall. Ricochet then went after all Retribution. Some really good moves, right? He did some really impressive DDTs. And they do this every single week, right? Ricochet, he does his best to fight off Retribution. But at the end of the day, the numbers catch up to him, and he loses like the loser he's been made out to be on the main roster. So, he went for a 630 splash with the WWE Universe behind him, but he landed on the knees of Retribution, of Ali. Then Ali locked in the Koji clutch for the win. So after the match, Mustafa Ali once again, for like the 6th straight week, offered Ricochet the chance to join Retribution, but Ricochet, hit him with a recoil and said that he would not lose his conviction no matter what happened to him. So I don't know, man. I don't know if they're going to keep doing this until Ricochet's contract runs out, because I did hear rumors that his contract does run out in January. But we all know Ricochet would be far better off if he was in AEW fighting for the TNT Championship, right? But we'll see. We'll see. They keep doing this every single week. I don't care about it that much because it's the same thing every single week, but it's whatever at this point. I feel like it's just there to fill in time because it's the same thing every week. Ricochet fights his hardest, does a couple flashy moves, and then the numbers catch up to him and he loses. Like, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to lead to Ricochet joining Retribution and then slowly taking out each member of Retribution, right, one by one, to, eventually, make things better off for himself, right? But we'll see. We'll see. But I'm not that invested into this. But I would not be surprised if that's where they're going with this. Ricochet, joins Retribution just so he can take out the group from the inside. Maybe that's where they're going, but we'll see. Next up, we had Charlotte Flair versus Nia Jax. Asuka and Shayna Baszler supported their tag partners from ringside. I didn't give a shit about this. This match went on for way too long, and I just watched Stephon Diggs score, 3 touchdowns against the Pats. Legit, I don't care, right? I don't mind, I know Charlotte's there, and we all know Charlotte's a star, but I just don't care. Charlotte versus Nia Jax? Are you fucking kidding me? You want me to sit back and watch this match? Even if they have good chemistry, I don't care. You guys know how much I hate Nia Jax, how much he sucks, right? And, we make the joke about Keith Lee getting sent back to the Performance Center when you have somebody that's someone that's trash as Nia Jax on the main roster, getting championship opportunities. I forgot to mention, right, now they're having WWE superstars one by one, talk about how they're going to be joining the Women's Royal Rumble match and the Men's Royal Rumble match. So Nia announced how she was going to be in the Rumble, and I would not be surprised if Nia is one of the favorites to win. Honestly. I would not be surprised if at WrestleMania we get Charlotte versus Asuka versus Nia Jax in a triple threat match for the Raw Women's Championship. I hope not. I hope and pray I'm wrong. But I would not be surprised because for some fucking reason, WWE believes that Nia Jax must be protected. I don't know why. Charlotte went for the figure 8, right? But all of a sudden, Shayna Baszler came out and Shayna took out Asuka on the outside and came out when Charlotte had the hold and locked in the Carafita clutch on Charlotte, causing disqualification. I don't know why WWE's always trying to protect Nia Jax. Nobody gives a shit about her. She's not good. She's not good. I don't understand. What's this addiction? Is with Nia Jax. She's terrible. Terrible in the ring. But I don't know. This shit's garbage. So anyway, we're clear we're going to get a tag team title rematch at some point, right? Which is sad, and I don't need to rant anymore about how Asuka's not being used correctly and how garbage this is and how the Riot Squad should be the tag team champions, because I say the same thing every single week. I would not be surprised if next week on Raw we get a tag team title match with Asuka and Charlotte versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I would not be surprised at all. I feel like that's exactly where they're going with this, right? And it's sad, and I don't care about it at all. I'm just waiting for Charlotte to take the Raw Women's Championship from Asuka, because we all know that's where this is leading to, unfortunately. That's what we're waiting for at the end of the day. Sad. Very, very sad. Right? Next up, we had the Hurt Business versus the New Day and the Hardy Bros. Right? Before this, they showed a replay of Big E's big WWE Intercontinental Championship win, which was one of the highlights from SmackDown this week. Congratulations to Big E. If you guys haven't checked out my SmackDown review, it was really good. It was audio only, right? Because I had people over my house over the Christmas holiday. But go check it out. We talked about Sasha Banks. We talked about Roman Reigns versus KO. We talked about Big E and how he should be booked as the IC champion. And we also talked about why Daniel Bryan must win the Royal Rumble and how he has to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Why that should be easily the main event for WrestleMania if we don't get Roman Reigns versus The Rock, which is, of course, unlikely at this point. So go check out that SmackDown review if you guys haven't already. It's live on the channel. But they showed a replay of that, and we got basically the New Day celebrated with the Hardy Bros about Big E's big championship victory. MVP came out with the rest of the Hurt Business, and they talked to the baby faces and talked about how they would destroy them once again tonight. Then Lashley announced how he would be in the Royal Rumble. I don't see Lashley winning the Royal Rumble, but I could definitely see him last all the way to the end, right? Being one of the final people in there. because he has been actually one of the only people that's been booked correctly throughout 2020 for WWE. You know, and I'm kind of hoping if we don't get Lesnar versus Keith Lee at Mania, I would not mind us finally getting that dream match with Lashley versus Lesnar, the one we've been waiting for freaking years and years and years, right? So we got the match. Like I said, I didn't pay attention to it that much. You know, I feel like I think we had the same match last week on Raw. I feel like we had the same exact match. I don't know, but I feel like we did. But either way, all right, yeah, I'll just check my fantasy team. But either way, right? At the end here, we saw Lashley make Jeff Hardy tap with the Hurt Lock again, right? So we've seen Jeff Hardy tap out to the Hurt Lock like 3 times, you know, in the last month. It's every single week now. So after the match, the Hurt Misses tried to cause more damage with a post-match attack, right? And Riddle caught Lashley with the final flash. So it looks like we are getting that Matt Riddle and Lashley feud, which I don't have any problem with. You know, this is just whatever. And we're probably going to keep getting this because they have no other tag teams on Monday Night Raw. Which is sad because I keep saying they should just merge the divisions. But of course, WWE doesn't listen to me when I know better than Vince McMahon himself when it comes to creative. It's garbage. This is garbage, bro. So, this led us to the main event, and it looks like we're going to finish here a little bit early tonight, which I don't have any problem doing. But, of course, we got to the main event, and we were all wondering, you know, what the hell? And NBA YouTube says I should do the 10 best matches on New Year's Eve. Actually, you know me well because I am considering. I don't know yet, but I might be doing a live stream on Thursday night. I'm not working Thursday night, so I might do a live stream for the new year talking about WWE. I promised you guys 2 videos this week. I'll make that announcement again here at the end of the podcast in just a second. But like I said, so Alexa Bliss came out, right? And the first thing I noticed, Alexa was wearing different ring attire, you know, than she was wearing earlier in the night. She wasn't wearing any ring gear. She was wearing like this black dress, like something you would wear to a funeral. And Randy Orton came out in his hoodie and shorts, and Randy Orton demanded that, you know, Alexa bring out the Fiend, because that's what, you know, people were expecting. I knew that was not where they were going with this, because the Fiend, they're going to save his re-emergence, right? That's going to most likely happen next week on Raw's Legends Night. That's what they're going to do. I expect the Fiend to be back next week. If not, they're going to save it for the Royal Rumble or right before the Royal Rumble, right? I can definitely see the Fiend being in the Royal Rumble. And then, you know, the Fiend and Randy Orton either, you know, eliminating each other during that show or something wacky like that happening. But instead, what happened here, Alexa got on the mic, and she was very emotional, and I love the way Alexa was portraying herself here. Alexa Alexa said, "This is not about him. This is about me and you." So Alexa was very angry, of course, for what Randy did in the Funhouse earlier in the night. And Alexa grabbed a present and opened it right in front of Randy Orton. She put out a gas can and matches and challenged Randy Orton to burn her alive, just like he did to the Fiend. This was very crazy because I was sitting back like, whoa, right? This is actually stuff I want to see, right? Put me on the edge of my seat. Make me think, because Randy Orton, we know that guy is a sadistic son of a bitch. And we know what Alexa's been doing with her character work as late. I was like, how is this going to end? I knew the Fiend wasn't going to come back, but I just wanted to see, you know, what are they going to do? Will Randy Orton actually burn the Fiend? You know, would Randy Orton actually burn Alexa Bliss? Are they going to do something else? So Randy Orton stood there, and he was like, what, you know, he didn't have any reaction. He just stood there like, really? You want me to burn you alive? Like, you know, we know Alexa Bliss is crazy, but she's not crazy like the Fiend is, right? But anyway, so then we saw Bliss was actually thinking about it, because she poured a trail from Randy Orton to herself. She gave Randy Orton the matches, and then she drenched herself. She drenched herself in gasoline, and I was like, whoa. I was like, damn, they might actually do this. So she called out Randy Orton for not being as sadistic as he claims he is, and then Alexa called Randy Orton you're a stupid son of a bitch, right? And I was like, oh, here we go, right? Randy might actually do it now. But then all of a sudden, Randy Orton said, you really want me to do this? The reason why I don't want to do, Randy said, I want to do this, right? I love seeing people in pain. But the thing about it is, I don't want to do it because it would make you happy. I would be doing what you want me to do. But instead, Alexa kept egging Randy on, and Randy says, you really want me to do this? And as Orton smiled, right? Orton smiled and lit the match, and all of a sudden the lights came on, like turned off, like they were teasing the Fiend coming, but I knew they were not going to do it. So basically the Raw logo started showing in the bottom right corner, and then the lights go on. When it appears Randy Orton is about to light the trail, but then the lights turn off, and that's how the show ends. It just ends with Randy Orton smiling evil, with that evil smile on his face as the lights went off. So he most likely didn't. He most likely didn't do it unless there's like extra footage from the Thunderdome of what happened afterwards, right? Maybe, the lights turned off and Alexa's no longer in the ring. So maybe it's like the Fiend comes to take Alexa Bliss before doing something stupid. That's the way I'm going to see it, because I'm just going to assume, like, the Fiend's supernatural power, right, saved Alexa Bliss and got her out of the ring before hurting herself. Because we know the one thing that would hurt the Fiend more than anything is, seeing Alexa Bliss get burnt alive. But I'm not going to lie, I love the way the show ended tonight. Alexa Bliss continues to be my favorite thing about this show. I love what they're doing with Randy Orton and The Fiend. I think The Fiend will most likely come back next week, like I said, on Raw's Legends Night, the first show of the year. And we'll still see where they go from there. But, it was a good ending of Monday Night Raw. The show itself was okay, right? I won't say it's decent, but it was okay. It was better than last week, at least, right? We'll see how it does in the ratings. But, they got to keep up with this dark humor. Keep up with these dark storylines, right? And stop with this bullshit with The Miz and some of this other garbage stuff they have going on, like with Retribution. That's not the stuff we want to see. It's Royal Rumble season, man. Start building up towards the Royal Rumble. Please, This whole Raw's Legends Night is not the answer to the ratings. But either way, I'll be right back here next week to review the show like I always do. You know what I mean? But other than that, guys, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on the podcast. Before you leave, do me a favor. If you guys are new to the channel, leave a like on the video so we can push this video out and educate more people in the WWE community. Also, guys, subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, right? Enable notifications so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. I will have I'll have three podcasts out later this week. On Wednesday, I'm here, Tuesday or Wednesday, most likely Wednesday, all right? Actually, no, most likely Wednesday. Wednesday, I will have a special video out. We're going to talk about Sasha Banks' 2020, right? This is a pro Sasha Banks channel. So Wednesday, I will have that video out. We're going to go through everything Sasha Banks did in and outside of the ring and why, in my opinion, she was the MVP for WWE in this crazy year. And then most likely Thursday, right? It's not confirmed, but most likely Thursday, I'll have another video. It might be live, it might not be, but we'll have another video talking about WWE in 2020, talking about my top 10 matches of the year, and we'll talk about everything good and all the bad, a lot of bad, right? We'll talk about everything that happened with the company this year. So make sure you guys watch out for that, and of course, we'll have our SmackDown review at the end of the week like we usually do. Other than that, guys, that's all I got for you guys today. Like, once again, thank you guys for the love and support. Thank you to the old and the new subscribers. Like, comment, subscribe. If you guys are new to the channel, enable notifications by clicking the button next to my name, FitzBunkTV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Thank you guys once again. I'll see you guys later. Follow me down on social media. Thank you to everyone who live tweeted with me tonight, as always. I'll see y'all later. Stay safe and healthy, y'all. Peace.